Welcome to Poetry Palace TV. I am Tom Beal, and this is my Diary of a Poet series, episode 10. In case you're new, the intent of this show is to read volume 18, Internal Revolutions, poems I've been writing to my late wife since February 2020. Unfortunately, I have not yet been able to read them in a composed manner. It was suggested that I simply start from the beginning so that I may get used to the idea slowly and add a bit more time to my process before actually trying to read those poems to you. If you would like to read along at another pace, the series is available to read for free at poetrypalacegiftshop.com. The producer of this show, as well as other fans, believe the verse in her volume is quite helpful to those who have lost a spouse. And if you know someone who you feel might be helped, please suggest they check it out. In this episode, we are going to start with volume 3, Growing Still. Just before that, I'm going to try to read a couple of poems from the site. Every day I get up, I write some poetry, I write some journals, I do some reading, and when I'm done with all that, I post a poem that I wrote about 3 months to my late wife onto the site. I moved the last poem to another page. Once a week, I put 7 of those in her book. Her book is one of the feature poem books in the rotation now, and today is one of those days where it's both. So I want to read today's post and then a post from August of 2020, both from her book, Internal Revolutions, Volume 18, that we're working towards. Number 2562, 10 November 23. Another Friday rolls around, but it's mid-November. One flower is left in the last blue glass, but it should be gone. And I am here in my great beyond, trying to remember what it actually was before you I laid hope upon. Number 1391, 24 August 20. The work on the dam is finally done, at least for a while. 3,200 pounds of concrete and my hips are so sore. I think if you were here to see it, it would make you smile. And baby, those smiles were really all that my living was for. So maybe just a little preview of what her book might be like. Today's episode is about Volume 3, or the start of it. Volume 3, I was up in Belfast, Maine, and I was selling my poetry at a flea market. I mean, I was selling other things, but I was also selling the poetry. I was getting tired of editing my own stuff, and I had a friend, and I had told him I was going to throw 2 books away. And he said, you know what, why don't you let me read the 2 books and I probably can come up with 1 book. And that sounded like a great idea. So I gave him the 2 books, and he gave me 1 book back that is Volume 3, Growing Still. And this was his introduction. When I was a child, I learned the saying, a picture tells 1,000 words. As an adult, reading the poetry of Tom Beal, I learned a twist of that phrase. Tom's words truly tell 1,000 pictures. Tom Beal is an observer of life, and his pen is his translator. His encounters with love, hate, hope, despair, enchantment, and disenchantment are recreated in verse with colorful imagery. As I read his diverse lines, these images bombard my senses, causing me to reflect on my own previous feelings and experiences. The poet once told me his best work resulted from depression. Sometimes his poetry represents the pain of his own experience, be it love lost, a lost friend, or a shattered dream. Sometimes his poetry results from his compassion for others as they struggle with life. Though depression may create Tom's words in much of his work, there is as frequently a recognition of hope and a vision of a brighter future. Thomas Beal is obsessed with the desire to record life's experiences, and he is obsessed with the desire to share the emotions stirred from those experiences with his readers. His commitment to writing verse is most sincere. To provoke thought or to promote change, he is willing to expose his deepest feelings, his vulnerability. I admire Tom Beal. As I search for my opportunity to have an impact, to make my mark, he quietly writes on. His hundreds of poems weave his life experiences. When you read his poetry, I think you will share memories of yesterday, feelings of today, and dreams of tomorrow. Rob Eaton, activist. Number 151. All is still, stars twinkling chill. The birds await dawn's light. Bats fly home, wayward sons roam, grasping remains of the night. Gray on the coast, where water will roast, the moonbeams must go. Sunshine at last, sleep withers fast, the cock has made its crow. Number 152. Thoughts waver, aghast and ghostly, on the edge of conscious realm. And I, the captain of pirate ship, storm blown at the helm. Words are leaping, harpoon sighted, woven in violent waves. A billion score of empty pages, and a pen that ever craves. Number 153. People warm, tidings comfort, you are welcome here. Should need find you reaching, we are always near. No greed, but friendship, within which there is no fear. Worry not, release your burden, shed a joyful tear. Number 154. A hot summer day, a cool coffee shop, two complete strangers on a liquid stop, a soft-spoken woman, a sarcastic man, who engage in conversation totally lacking plan, two children's parents from different city sides, two travelers of life's road connect through different strides. Her upper part of shy, his dimmer half of loud. A new realm is created amid the coffee crowd. A little bit of laughter, a little bit of talk. Ask a few questions on the knowledge walk. Maybe a little less now stranger, maybe almost friends. It is not a clear picture, I suppose it all depends. The man has his own thoughts, one she cannot see. And she, her own secrets, it's part of being free. But all in all, it is better than a silent sit today. For each has recollection, and good in each's way. Number 155. There has never been a better day that I could change things I dislike. Number 157. Sitting on something explosive. What a wonderful language we've got. Time is quick, thus erosive. Bull is cool, I have a lot. Ambition comes in tides. I have a fatal youth. Genius runs and hides, but I am a sleuth. Insanity in the other box, many times it shows. Its droning voice and impulsive talks, its meaning no one knows. So I am haunted at night in nightmare waves. I wake again and write, fountain pen and slaves. Number 158. Pre-dawn partings, what a sensuous sound, exhausted that we are. Our hands stay busy for hours straight, but we never go too far. 10-minute breathers, we're at it again. the rhythmic pass of night, and stop to think we are total strangers, collided on Earth's fateful flight. Number 160. I once had a wonderful feeling, as if I were king and earth were my throne. Each new moment had treasures revealing. All of its life's roses were seeds I had sown. People were honest in offering hand. Violence was only fantasy and tale. Burns were just made on the beach by the sand, and pain was a tingle of summer hail. Wishes were dreams that would someday come true, and dreams were the fulfillment of my life. The dazzling sky was my only blue. The decisions of play were my strife. Now I am older, and all that I feel, dreams are continued, but my man is real. Number 161. When I was a child, I held a child's hand. I had no need for love, it was not known. Care was a word I did not understand. Anger and hatred, all that were shown. Threat and submission, so well exampled, and obedience was assured by fear. Pride and innocence, selfishly trampled. Sermons of self-destruction ever clear. The man learned to quiver, echoes of child, a reminiscence of threats that were thrown. Attempts at avoidance of pain were wild, till he found he lived his pain all alone. In desperation, he asked above. He answered with Judy's earnest and love. Number 162. Terror remains in the eyes of the child, while late tears unleashed are held by the man, realizing his innocence was defiled and wondering the extent of its span. Alas, the freedom finally achieved, yet it happened and now years in the past. Daily discovery of ways deceived, and discovering the effects are vast. Love that was spoken but never exposed had become ware to all new hearts that plead. The bursts of anger so violently posed are open wounds that continued to bleed. The morning mirror says that you are okay. The past is just that much farther away. Number 163. I have reached 41 at 25. She relives 25 at 41. Together youth and age become alive. The bridging of differences has begun. My young man is striving to reach complete. Her woman tries to remember her girl. Somewhere in the middle we often meet, where the tensions of our lives can unfurl. We clash at the corners we overlook. We are lonely together at night. We remember the bad turns that we took, but we push forward with all of our might. The difference in age could tear us apart, but age is not in the eyes of the heart. Number 164. Depression is a carnivorous beast which preys greedily on the flesh of mankind. A lonely impression is one of its least. Crowds follow its lure as if they were blind. It gains through the innocence of pure youth, disillusioning the ignorant eye. Its venom quickly obliterates truth while dwindling all efforts of try. The will of the victim shrivels away, and their small chance of achievement is lost. They wallow, unaware that they must pay when it is their life that is the end cost. The only escape is by reaching out. That is what friends and concern are about. We're gonna leave it right there for now. And thank you very much for joining me for this episode of Poetry Palace TV. I hope there was something that caught your ear and all that. Please feel free to check out the website, and I hope to see you again next week. Au revoir.